at the time, DMX was not really doing any fancy runs or anything. DMX just kept a straight, what do you call that? The foot bass, the kick bass? What do you call that? The kick, right?
Yeah.
He was DMX is just on the kick. Okay, DMX, goodbye. the guys of the musician union would be very happy to hear me say goodbye at DMX. Get some of the drummers inside. You just joined us. It is Leston Paul. It is Pelham Goddard. It is Peter Blood. Let's just do some quantum leaps because, when you're having fun, time just slips away from you, right? I just want to go straight into the Maestro period, Pelham Goddard. You met with Maestro, as we said. We covered all of that already. Let's talk about the actual work that came on. We spoke about Savage, but then there was some other things. Yeah. And the strange thing about Maestro is that he was doing the soca, but at the same time doing the conventional. I mean, Boom Bam was not soca.
Yeah, well.
What do you call what Fiery qualify as soca?
Fiery, that was the Koto.
Right.
Arrangement,
Right, and he was still in the idiom of the traditional Calypso at that point.
Yeah.
All right, so how did you get him to move further into that soca era? And tell me about the story behind Bionic Man at the same time.
Right, well, apart from what Adikoto did with Fiery and those songs that Maestro did. Mm-hmm. And then the next year he did Rampage and all that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so but apart from that, Maestro wanted to do some other music. He was thinking of shifting from that a little bit. Mm-hmm. And media, we should release media releases and do some things for the media. Mm-hmm. So he came and we started work on things like Bionic Man, Play Me, and that album that he did, right? And we are doing some a lot of work. We put on the bass and bass lines and all that first. And as I said before, that's the era of overdubbing, know. Mm-hmm. So you go and listen to it and come back and we could put on horns and all that. And what we did a song named Soulful Calypso Music. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, right. Mm-hmm. And that was in a different kind of direction too. And he had Carol Addison, her sister, Mavis John, all of them, a lot of singers singing on that Soulful Calypso. Soulful Calypso, That was the media releases that he was doing, right? And it's a pity that we didn't get to finish really the Bionic Man because the direction we wanted to go really with it. After his accident and so we had to just go in the studio and mix it as it was.
Which is one of the strange things, just before I get to that strange incident there. So when folks argue, and that's why the way we started this here is all about context. When folks argue who was the creator of soca, it is true to say it was a combination, contributions from a lot of different people, would you say? Or would you give it singularly to Raz Shorty, Garfield?
I will remember when we was doing Vibration, the Vibration song.
Endless Vibrations, yes.
Right, with Ed Watson was the arranger, and we went to rehearse. We went to rehearse in Penthouse. Mm-hmm. We did a rehearsal at Penthouse for that recording.
What do you remember about Penthouse, Peter Blood? He's laughing.
Right, and I remember Shorty with a big tape recorder, a boombox. Mm-hmm. He came up with the boombox.
Yes.
And it started spontaneously because Toby played drums on that. And Toby, Michael Tobas,
Yes, Toby, yes.
Right, and he started off just a kind of beat with it. Nobody didn't tell Toby what to do. And Angus started to play, Angus Noons,
yes.
started to play bass, and we get in a groove. While he was coasting then. You call that coasting in our yard. Right? And Shorty come, and Shorty, he record everything that we was doing. You understand? Mm-hmm. And then he just started sing this vibration. I need music, they didn't do music, and that is how that started up,
Just like that?
Just like that.
Right. Oh,
so
okay.
It wasn't that he bring that song to Ed Watson to do.
Right, but the sound itself.
Right.
Who do you say? I'm not looking to take away anything from anybody because everybody contributed. Yeah, that's my general feeling.
When we went
but
to the
who brought that sound itself?
When we went to the studio now.
Yes.
Because of overdubbing again, we decided we'll put in, the tracks went up on, the rhythm first, then the bass line and all that. And I remember all Christmas Eve day we was in the studio working on that record. At time, doing percussion and all, talk, and all kind of Ed Watson.
Wow. All right. So everybody contributed.
Everybody,
at the end of the day,
I will say that was a collaboration thing.
I hear
and then the studio now didn't know this music sounding different. What we'll call it, you know? This music. I remember in a room with Ellis shouting on. Andrew Tanker was around at the same time.
Yes.
They used to be in the studio and everybody. But what we call this music? And then Shorty say, he feel it the soul of Calypso. You know?
That's how we arrived at it.
The soul of Calypso.
It sounded a little bit like this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
What was DMX on the drums here, or you had a real person working?
No, that was Michael Thomas.
That was stuff. I just had to tickle Leston
Like
a little
Angus
bit.
Snow, Michael Thomas, Johnny Blake. You remember Johnny Blake?
Johnny Blake,
guitarist? He played guitar. And Pelham Goddard as well.
Okay, so you heard the story of this? Check it out.
Adi Koto. Recorded by Sam.
Yeah, they're talking about something of the song. Go ahead. Adi Koto did what on this?
Adi Koto is the arranger on this
Adi
song.
Koto is the arranger of
And the
this.
bass man.
Robert Nelson, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for dropping with us, Bob. Those who have just joined us, thank you so much for joining us inside Brunch. My guests, titans them all. That is Leston Paul, it is Pelham Goddard, and Peter Blood. Pelham, I can't get here without talking about the era of Chris, Mr. Tambu, Pastor. And, can I get here without talking about Mr. David Michael Rudder? Talk to me about what that era was like, man. I've got to touch on that.
No,
and the direction of the music.
Tambo is the one that started with the band, right, with Roots.
Right, that's
okay?
right.
After Carnival in 1980, we went to Guyana, right after Carnival. And Tambu sang on the road in Guyana too also. So when he came back, his voice went. He had no voice. Right? Matter of fact, he had to go and take therapy, voice therapy. I learned alphabet and all that to get back his voice.
Whoa.
Right. By the time he wanted a singer. So Rudder used to be in the studio also doing background vocals. He, Carl and Carol and they.
That's right.
Right.
Hey, good morning, Carl and Carol. Yeah, good morning, guys. How are you, Carl?
So we decided to take Rudder with the band. And he came on. And those days, Rudder was doing a lot of Al Jarreau and that kind of stuff. He so he was looking to everybody who attempt to sing soca or kaiso. At that time, changes was happening. People they trying this one, they trying that, they trying this and the other. Right? So David come along and the first song I gave him, well, Peter Machel was bringing a band named Jungle Fever in 1981.
Yes.
So I went and composed that song for Peter Machel band. First time I composing a song for the band. Peter Machel didn't even know we were going to do that. All right, and I gave Rudder Jungle Fever to sing. And Jungle Fever make a big hit on the stage for Carnival, you know. And the next year we pulled up the whatever ratings we get from it, and we went back and do Calabash and Jump Up, right? And then we did, Peter Machel had his what you call it, trilogy going on with the river and everything. And so I and David Rudder became writers, so to speak, like Al David and Burke Bacharach. We are the Al David and Burke Bacharach.
Yes, because what is Bacharach did the music and David did the lyrics, right?
Right.
Yes, okay, so that's the time.
We was just doing things all the time until we went up to had the Hammer and well, he did Bahia Girl. And apart from that, having a band like Roots who is competent musicians all around.
All of them, yes.
Right? And we was touring a lot and all that. So during when we tour and we have spare time and things, we sit down and talk about music, where we wanted the band to go. We were looking at a group as Roots, just like how we are Cool and the Gang and Earth, Wind and Fire with their own music, right? Because when all these groups that came to Trinidad, Sunshine Band and all, Roots used to play in the Savannah with them.
That's right.
And Barry White, we played with everybody.
I remember.
So we were thinking of that kind of area with the Roots band. And we had support from the band also. So we are doing a lot of collaboration work too, at the same time. hence Calypso music and all these other things come up, engine room and all that, right? And David Rudder, well, he won after he won the crown, the triple crown, 86, right? We went on to higher heights now. We started touring more. We went to London. We went to all Europe, over Europe, and all that. At one time, he signed up with Warner Brothers and all that. So they wanted to do promotion. So we started going California side, Seattle, Oakland, all over the America and Europe side. So I and David Rudder had a real tight something on, until he went to Canada to live.
But that era was the kind of era when everybody was trying to export their sound. Did you do any modification on the Calypso at that time? And the reason I asked that, coming to Leston in just a second, because he had the biggest international hit. Because when you look at Robert Nesta Marley, for instance, it was all Johnny Nash before folks started to get into Bob Marley's music. Yeah. Johnny Nash was singing everything for him. Go up a jelly, stir it up, tears on my pillow, everything. And then folks started to say, let us get the real thing. So it is true to say that what the Jamaicans did was temper the sound for export, and then folks came home to get the roots. Did you find a need for you to temper the roots for folks to come home and get the real thing?
Well, we was trying different things, like we had a song named not Calabash. We had, I think it's Calabash too. We had to do a remix for outside, and then we had a because BBC was playing a lot of Madness outside here on BBC One, a matter of fact, in London, right? And we went and we had to go and do a video on BBC on a TV station and all that. So we get a little exposure, but to say major changes, and then we wasn't ready.
You didn't consciously make any change.
Say what sometimes the lyrical content we have here, right? To the outside, they wanted to change it to love songs and all that. Because love songs was more making hits all the time. But when you sing something like 1990, they ask you who sing, what's the meaning of this, what's the meaning of that? The lyrics is different.
Okay, so one of the things that I always thought worked was like Lala. It was not very difficult for you to decipher the words. The other disadvantage I think a lot of calypsos have is because we don't publish our lyrics at the time when we used to have lyrics. Yeah. Let us talk about that international feel. Yes, Peter, I just editorialized. Stop chuckling. Let's go back to Leston Paul. Leston, I mentioned a young man is inside here. His name is Alistair, and he did some work on one of your songs. He was the rapper, which was that whole thing about bringing it to a new audience. But before I do that, you brought it to an international audience. Hot, hot, hot. Wherever you play that, folks know it. It was the biggest selling calypso record there is. What was your motivation? What was your secret? What was what were the ingredients you put into Hot, Hot, Hot? And did you approach it as an international song or just another song for a brother from out of Montserrat? I mean, what was the thinking there?
We approached that as something that we hoped that would have made an international hit, and it did.
Oh, so you mean initially you knew this was an international song we put together?
We didn't know that it would have been that successful, but we knew that we was doing something special, because just having the guy play the rock guitar solo, and the approach that we took in doing the track, which we rehearsed a couple of times. Well, we went to Montserrat first. No, he came to Trinidad first, worked up at the hotel with him. Then we went to Montserrat to rehearse a couple of times, and after Montserrat, then we went to New York to record. And we stayed in New York to record. We made a lot of changes. It was that album was very, very stressful.
It was stressful because being in the same place with Alphonsus is stressful because he never rests.
And not only that, but I was dealing with a lot of people recording at that time. Sometimes I was working with people over the phone. They was in the studio at KH. I was in New York, and I was just like listening to stuff and making directions of what to do and stuff. Because I remember when I was working with Merchant also on that Rocket album, And I didn't really hear the horns that I had arranged until the tapes came up to New York, because I wrote the sheets and stuff, and I gave Mitch to direct the horn session for me because I had to fly out. And I heard the horns afterwards, which was really, really
That's one of the things that a
special
lot
to
of
me.
people had to see at some point, and Pelham probably had the same experience as you did. When you recognize as a hit maker, then everybody's coming at you. You become, some folks say, a cookie cutting machine. You become a place with a formula. Did you ever regard what you were doing, and Pelham, I'm coming at you with the same question, did you ever regard what you were doing as a formula after Hot, 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 understanding the ingredients necessary to make this break internationally? One, did you ever have a formula? And two, second part of that question is, why has no one else been able to break that barrier as you did with Hot, Hot, Hot internationally?
Well, I think in the music industry, you need something called luck.
I like that, because that's the truth.
Luck, luck.
I hear you. Because you've got many people who are working hard, yes.
Yeah, and there are many good songs out there. There are many tracks that people thought that would have break, and and we could go on and give examples like Rihanna and this one and that one. Luck is what you need in order to break through.
Which in a little way kind of contradicts what you said for a moment, and I tell you, because when I asked you, there was a formula for the international thing. You say, I approached it with the international audience in mind, but as you said, luck played in there. It's just called right time.
Right.
And you must have a good messenger too. I mean, Fonzie would go into the back of a truck and sell it to the truck driver. You got to have somebody who is carrying it out for you, right?
Yeah. Well. The point that I made is valid, because after we did Hot, 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 he wanted another hit also, and did it come?
No.
Right.
Right. Okay. Got you. It's not just about having the good salesman and having the good formula. It's about having the right timing. Did you find yourself a cookie cutting machine at any time, Pelham, when everybody was coming to Pelham and Goddard and Charlie's Roots? I mean, you had David, you had Chris, and you were producing for Maestro and a whole lot of other people. Did you find yourself in that situation?
Yes, people will just come in. They want the hit. They want what I give Rudder, and they want what I give. They'll come at that, And that was the thing at the time. But I come back. I wanted to say something about Hot, Hot, Hot. Sometimes the title of a song, Hot, 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 all about people that feel hot.
Yes.
All right. If you release that in summertime in America, people had to be beer bar constructed.
Yeah.
So that had to be a hit.
Yeah.
But coming back to thing, but people that rush. As long as you make a hit with somebody, they always come and say they want something like what.
How do you resist that issue for?
Well, the material have to be as good as whatever.
Okay.
The material is the first thing.
Okay.
They tell somebody sing a song, and then the one thing about artists though, or writers, if you give them advice and thing about some piece of music, they don't want to take the advice, because anybody who write a song feel it's the best song they have.
Of course.
They feel it's the best song. I see Brady give back somebody some money in the studio at time, because he tell Brady he have a road march. Brady say, I don't want to do your road march, because if it make, you'll say I spoil your road march.
Working with Super Blue, take me to there quickly. What was it like working with Austin Lyons?
Well, Austin Lyons, I work with Super Blue. That come about because Romy, I did Soca Baptist for Romy, who is my friend. Romy give me a cassette and tell me, see what I could do with it, help him out. So after we came from on tour, I traveled with that cassette in my briefcase. I know all about the place. And when we came back, we decided to go in the studio one day and do the song on Sunday. And then he was very calm and thing, because the first time he in the studio also. So he had people like Patsy Holder and them helping him out and giving him cheering him up.
That was the blue boy he's talking
And
about.
although we put him in a little hot water because we went and get the bell for him.
To ring the bell, right.
To ring the bell, and the bell is what caused the Baptist people to quarrel with.
Oh yeah.
So,
So you put him in trouble. It was your fault.
Yeah.
Okay, but creatively, that experience, is that because he comes, he's almost like he's a force. He comes with a force. Super comes with a force. Driving. How much does the utterance or the concept of a performer or a writer of a song interfere with what you know to be the right direction to go? How much of yourself do you try to exert into what a performer brings to you?
Well, he come with his ideas, right? And he thinks, but he like, I know exactly what Super Blue like, this Baptist rhythm thing, right? And I will inject that in him first, make the rhythm, make him like the rhythm first. And then we'll start putting the bass line and all that kind of thing. So he had to vibe the rhythm first, and I know that. This year I did a song with him, and I went through that with him too. Sprinkle.
Yeah, Savannah, Grand Savannah.
Yeah.
All right, but that's an experience that because of the amount of hits you guys have had. I think 9 road marches. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. I want to go into a little bit of chutney soca just for a moment, which means I got to bring crazy in here just before I bring crazy. Would you ask Alistair if he could join Peter? Alistair, could you come across to the microphone and join Pelham on that side? Because Alistair is important as to in the area. Not only is he a relative and a hard worker up in New York City and selling the sound of soca to everybody, JW that is. But he was also a rapper on a song from you, Leston Paul, Get Up and Dance. The intention there was what? To reach out to a young audience? Was that part of having Alistair involved in this?
Well,
before I bring Alistair to the mic, was that the thinking?
Well, it wasn't the thinking at the time, but when I started to work on that track,
yes,
he was in the kitchen with me in Queens there. I had a 1200 drum machine, SP1200.
Yes.
And I was looking for something that to start the song that would be influential. When the song start, people will know that, hey, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
You understand? I was looking for that type of excitement to begin that song with. And that was the era where the rap was now
taking hold, yes.
Right.
Yes. Well, I had to bring Alistair in because I remember you go into New York City and you go into any G&W store, the one particularly on Georgia Avenue, and Alistair is going to sell you everything. Not only that, he knows everything in the place. And I understand what you mean. He was everywhere. He was always everywhere. Alistair, good morning, man. How are you?
Good morning, It's a pleasure to be on the program.
It's good to see you, my brother. It's good to see you.
And amongst these guys as well.
But look at this. Look at
Man,
this.
we sitting amongst legends here.
Yeah, you said it's almost like having the 3 peaks, you know what I'm saying? And you find yourself right in the middle of them,
I'm dumbfounded right now.
Yeah, all right. So just one thing. I'm going to play a little bit of Get Up and Dance because I want to get that rap inside. His rap was right at the top of the song, right? You moved it down in the center of the song.
Center,
okay.
yeah.
I'm trying to get as much as I can out of you guys. What are you doing now, by the way? You doing something
I have
that
a technology company. Right?
A technology company.
Yeah. Novo Technologies, based here and in the U.S.
Okay.
And we're doing payment platforms for banking, financial corporations.
You're just making
government
money.
Stuff.
You're just making money.
Doing okay.
All right, man. I just wanted to say hello to you because I'm trying to get a lot of the rap inside of here. I'm gonna hit Get Up and Dance before we go on. Folks, go and hear you on the rap. But it's good to see you, my man. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. I want to get chutney.
Can I mention one other thing?
Of course you can.
I was listening to these guys, and with the whole soca genre and the change of the music.
Yes.
I think a big part of that was also, like you said, you see how the DMX was the technological changes also changed the sound of the music.
Oh, yes.
And the control of the music. Because at one point you had, you needed the financing and the big budget of, major producers and executive production to get things done. And
right.
As technology changed and, tools was at the fingertips of, the younger generation and able to create, that opened the door for them to bang away a beat or a rhythm without, the full-blown
I hear you. There is something
studio
very
production. Yeah.
There is also something very instructive you said there, just on the side by saying it taught a different way of managing the music.
Right.
Because now it was not just about capturing the music with mics and acoustics being a problem and so on. Now you had the music totally managed because it being computerized. I mean, it's, you hear a huge difference between miking a kick bass and just having a DMX play.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but you see the live musicians.
Yes.
Where you needed the percussionist, maybe even a conga man and a different, trap set man.
Yeah.
The guitarist, the trombone, the whole entourage, now became a whole digital, with your keyboards, your laptops. And when you had that slew of musicians, you needed the Pelhams, the Lestons, and so on to give that direction. So that's what I'm saying. You had a sense of direction and so on, which kept the music in a certain way for a time period. But once the tools got in the hands of the younger producers, they had free reign to whatever they felt like doing.
They fired all the musicians like Leston.
No, not to fire
I'm
because
being funny.
he transitioned as well, and Pelham, these guys all transitioned to digital production. But I'm just saying, in terms of the control and the creativity, it was no longer directed by these grandmasters as it once was.
And they remain, thank you very much, Alistair. They remain grandmasters because no matter what you do, you have to direct the music. You've got to arrange the music. You've got to produce the music. You've got to make it happen. And that's why when Peter Blood made the point earlier that we are all cognizant of, you guys more than anybody else, is that the engine room is what does it. You see, it is not dissimilar to the mechanic. Engine room is appropriately used because you inside it there and you put it all together. The car is on the road and they see Frankie Boudram. For those who don't know, Frankie Boudram is a race car driver. So that's all you see. Briefly, because I'm going to deal with him. I'm going to deal with Leston on this one. I'm going to play the track too. Chutney Soca, Pelham.
Chutney Soca. But I haven't been doing much.
I know.
Chutney.
Yes.
Although I grew up in an environment with Tassa and Hussein and all kind of things. I know. A matter of fact, I was a Tassa player. Right?
Oh, you play Tassa,
But Chutney music, I didn't do much of that.
But there's still not to be a huge part of expression for one segment of our population, and it is an integral part of what we do.
It's still that.
Leston, whose idea was this to come up with Nanny Wine?
I think that was Blue Void's song.
It was Super Blue song.
Super Blue song.
Yeah, Austin Lion.
Yeah.
And of course, you put it in the hand of Crazy and forget it. How did you get involved with this, man?
I was in New York at the time, and just passed by me and say, well, you have the song that he wanted, that he got from the Blue Boy, and he wanted to do the track by Ralston Child's studio.
It's kind of difficult when Mr. Edwin I. Young come up to you and tell you something, because he's not going to leave you until you guys know what I'm talking about, right? so Nanny Wine, was it a conscious effort? You got the melody and you knew you had a crossover kind of song that would break down the place and take both populations together. Did you know that when you were doing it, or is it something that you just took as another job and put it together?
No, it's something we felt whilst we were doing the track. It's something that we felt.
You felt it was going to break just by listening to it. All right. And that turned out to be, Sukinia was the road march, right? Yeah. Sukinia was the road march, right? Okay. But Nanny Wine was the crossover song.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a little bit of Chutney Soca, come back. I've ended up with about 7 minutes with the three titans I've got in the studio. It's 11:50. Get up and dance is what we're going to leave you with this morning. But right now, let's talk about who drove the Chutney Soca side of brunch this morning. A little bit of Mr. Young Crazy. It's called Nanny Wine. More music again produced by one of the titans in studio, and that is Leston Paul. Calypso Rose surprised everybody. She just went like, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. All right. You must have had the greatest experience, the longest experience with Rosie. Talk about that.
Well, Rosie is very close to me because I remember Rose through, well, the first time she sang with that same song, Going Down San Fernando, More Tempo.
More Tempo, yes.
I had worked on that record with Adi Kuto, did that record. He did 2 tunes, he learned 2 on that song. When Ralston Child came down and heard the song, he find he could take, because everything was happening around that time. People was innovating, they trying all kind of things and experiments. So he thought that Adikoto didn't do much experiment with the song. So he just thinks, so they gave me a chance to do it over. Going, and she won the road march. So I came that day, I get my little break now.
That was 77,
as a
yes.
road march arranger. So, so that way I will, Rose and then we repeat the next year too.
That's really interesting that you mentioned that, because Ralston Charles, just like Julian Williams in New York, these guys did a whole lot of music. They did a lot of music, they did a lot of financing for the music, they did a lot of export of the music. Just want to say good morning to them because they're great contributors.
Rose is very special to me in that form, And when she went to the honor in Toronto that year, she said this trophy is for Pelham. She gave me, she appreciate that so much, that she went the road march and all that. So
You also mentioned a name there that a lot of folks have not given credit to, which is Ellis Chilion, was your manager
for
a long time. And that is the father of the Tony, who is the...
No, he's Tony uncle.
Uncle, I apologize. I handed him a new father. His uncle, yes.
But Ellis was manager of the studio, KH.
I remember.
Right, so Ellis was very close.
Another person who did a whole lot for the music. Leston Paul, if you had to speak to the direction as to where we are here in the sense of because this is something that has always bothered me. It is one thing to work in the studio, it's another thing to go out and present a show, which I think is an integral part of selling the art form. Are you comfortable with this whole idea of tracks on the stage and stuff like that as against live musicians? I'm coming to you after Mr. Goddard. Are you a musician? I don't know where you stand on that.
Well,
Leston, you indeed, for the purpose of this conversation, you're the technologist.
From an economical point, economically and also sound-wise, because sometimes I listen to live bands that play and they don't sound good at all. So I guess a lot of the bands these days don't want to take that chance to not sound good, so they put their tracks in the computer and fool the people that they're playing on stage. The people jumping up.
No, that's when you on the good side. What you have some guys who fronting on instruments, but for the most part they're not even fronting. They just play the tracks and that's it. And you go ahead and have a good time. You see the musician. Pelham Goddard is shaking his head when I ask that question. Go ahead, Pelham. Go ahead.
No, it's all well and good to have tracks, but when sometimes you have tracks with the voice on it, the lead voice.
Yes.
Like last night I hear the artist sing. But he have his voice on the track, and he sings again. So,
Mini Vanelli.
It's a form of, wow. In one sense, the promoter cannot hire a band all the time and then you have artists coming to sing with the band. A matter of fact, you see this singing in parties, Roots was responsible for that also. When Charlie Roots started, we used to have all the artists that we record, and then they used to come to the fete. You don't know that. Chap Chinese Association, they find themselves up there on the stage, just handing out music and playing. So that when the promoter saw that happening, he said, best I hire they start booking the artists, big building, and the name of the band small on it. So it become a whole thing now. Roots are that artists singing in fete. Right? Other than that, we used to have to go and play instrumental music.
Right. Well, again, it's all about breaking down barriers. Peter Blood, I'm going to bring in here because you know again you're the chronicler of what happens with our business. Machel Montano is huge. I mean, Super, I believe, is the man who has the distinction. Is the most he has the most road marches, I believe. No, Kitchener.
Yeah.
And then we go to Super, right? Errol people went like, no, get that right. Thank you, man. All right, so it is the Mighty Lord Kitchener. It is Super, and then I think Machel is down there at 8, right?
8.
Right. You have seen the ascent of the kid that was too young to soca. Now he is the name that represents Soca. Are you astonished by the longevity of his success?
Not really. If I could depart from the question here, A few years ago, I was doing a lecture at Fatima College, I think it was, the students there. And I asked them, what you want to be when you grow up. And I said, how many of you want to be Machel Montano?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody put up their hand. I said, let me tell you about Machel Montano. He could count and he could spell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And from a child, Machel Montano always impressed me because he managed to, with the help of his parents, of course, marry the music side of it, the academic side of it. Few people know that, for instance, he has a degree, and I think it's in engineering.
He did engineering.
Engineering.
Yeah.
And you can't just go in the studio and fool Machel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unlike a lot, I would say the majority of our artists out there, they really don't know the technical side of the music and stuff like that. So I think that guy, he's just going to keep soaring and climbing and also be a good exemplar for young musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Because regardless what you say, whoever it might be, I think he is the role model that they all would like to be when they enter the business.
I hear that, and we know that he's going to be going. He's going to be.
He come like all the Calypso when they used to see Sparrow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You know.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know that he's performing Machel Monday, which is tomorrow. I know you will be there. I know everybody who wants to see what's going on in this industry is going to be there. I want to take a point and pass it to the other two titans here on the panel. What is that? Okay, I want to take a point and pass it on to the other two titans we have here. I'm going to start with Leston Paul, because that point you made about the effort, about having a foundation, about the dedication to the business, the respect for the business, and the effort necessary to be a success in this business. I know you have seen a lot of people who come about with that, exactly what Pelham said earlier. Make me a star. I want a road march. Speak to the dedication and particularly if you are seeing it in the young aspirant these days.
Yes, I think there are a few guys that have that dedication and love and commitment, I think, for the music industry. I think it's just a matter of time that we see them, that we see these guys grow. Mm-hmm. You know, in time, there are a lot of good music that I listen to that is out there. A lot of people might criticize the music because it's not what they're accustomed to hearing, but we gotta realize that the year 2016 is not the year 2006.
I hear you. Things change and we have to roll with it. Man, the joy I have this morning in bringing you together with the other two titans in the studio. I'll leave Peter out of this just for a minute, but particularly you and, I said the other two, which included Peter, but now I'm just going to single out two of the three. And Pelham, if I take you and I take what Leston has done collectively throughout the years in your creativity, I have to do nothing short of saluting. What Leston has done with soca music, I thought, was to refine it. Refine it. I never try to worry about who created what. There is nothing new under the sun but the sun. At the end of the day, the earth has music to hear, and we all hear it, and we have some kind of interpretation of what we hear. What I like, however, and what I respect is when you find someone who can say, I like this sound, or I think I can take this and make it into something. And you both have been able to do that and keep your heads on a level playing field. Which band are you supporting this year, Pelham?
What band?
What steel band are you? Well, you know I'm coming with that.
I support it. I'm arranging for Exodus.
Okay, you're out of this. You're out of this. I'm going to leave him out. You can't do anything, otherwise there will be an exodus from you. You don't want to do that. Listen.
I'm supporting the band that wins.
Oh, that's such a cop-out. You're such a dancer. He danced earlier, and he's dancing. Okay. Peter Blood.
Okay, I'm from Laventille, but I've played for Phase 2 and Pandemonium. So the best band, whichever band wins, I go with the judges' decision. It's final.
No, we're talking Carnival. We're not talking about the story of Rome, Brutus. Anyway, let's not get this whole thing confused here. Pelham, thank you so much for coming in this morning, man.
Well, it's a pleasure.
I truly appreciate it. One of the things that I want to do, and we will do at some point, is sit down for 2 hours, you and away from the microphone, and just go through, because there's so much of you, so much of both of you to be explored that we have not done. There is so much of Peter Blood, who I ask here, that he has seen, that tells you about the movement of what we do. This thing called Carnival, some people think it is just a freeing up of the flesh, which is kind of earlier, They think that is all it's about. No, it's about the movement of a people. And if you take the Calypso as a storytelling, which really it is, the essence of Calypso going through you guys who see the need to provide a good platform for the storytellers to tell. Yeah. In other words, you were Eric Williams, Woodford Square. You know what it is? Yeah. There's the messenger, but you must have the ambiance. You must have the sound. You guys have done a whole lot of that, and to that I am very, very appreciative, as I'm sure all of our listeners are this morning. You play mass at all, Leston? Do you play mass?
If I play mass?
Yeah. Do you ever? I mean, do you go on the street? Let me rephrase that.
I play mass in a different way.
You see, I knew there was a reason I should rephrase that. So the creativity and stuff of Carnival, does that bother you? I know you're a musician, but the creativity, does that bother you?
I'm into the arts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the creativity of Carnival, I think, has lost a lot, man.
But isn't that the same thing that you were making? And I'm asking you this because this is all part of our collective experience. When you say the music must be given a avenue to do its new thing, I'm just asking, are we making a judgment on the Carnival, or you say that is something different?
I'm not seeing any improvement when I look at the television for Mass Carnival Monday and Tuesday. I mean, when I look back at footage from 1967 and stuff, compared to now, I mean, come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
Leston? I'm sorry, Pelham?
You see, Carnival has become, you remember we was talking about selling Carnival and making it more commercial.
Yeah.
And all that. I find it, Carnival has fallen into a commercial situation now, where it's the most costume you could sell, regardless of if it's blue, green, it have to have no name. They don't like you're playing, somebody will say, all right, I'm playing in Paradise Lost, and I'm playing this section. If you ask somebody, what section you playing? I'm in green, I'm blue. So it different colors, it's a lot of costume to sell, Carnival time. So the more you could sell, they could play the trucks, and they could play the DJs on the road. And again, it's a different thing.
So if I am to take
long time when the creative of Carnival, the creativity of Carnival is to go buy Samaru and buy your material and go home and sew it and make your mask face for yourself.
Ronnie, Cara from Ronnie McIntosh's wife must be smiling now, because that's what she used to do: run by Samaru and get it, and come back home and work it out.
You go back home and work out your costume.
Yes.
But now you could buy a costume from coming from China. From China, and easy thing.
Well, in addition to it destroying the local industry, the small business here, you are both in unison on the question that Carnival has lost its creativity. Is that correct? And Peter Blood, you on the side.
The hardest part of Carnival right now is a steel bank trying to win a panorama. That start from the 3rd of January till Carnival Saturday night.
I knew that should have been my penultimate question.
That is the hardest part of Carnival.
Here is my last part of this morning, and this is definitively the last question. Because it has bedeviled us for a long time. You are the technologist. I'm coming to you second. I'm going to start with Pelham. That question of steel band. For a long time, it has been discussed that we are not miking it properly. We're not letting it breathe. The canopies is they work there antithetical to the sound being explored and captured properly. What is your feeling on the panorama, the whole question of miking the pans for recording purposes better, one, so we can go on and export it and make it something that can be captured and indeed go further than where it is?
Now, if a band doing a sound check, it takes time to do a song check, right? So that you will sound good. Any band on a stage. Now you go into Panorama, it have about 15 bands in the, you go into the Panorama.
They're at 15.
You have to go on the stage and you have a time to set up. And wherever they put the microphones, they're ready to go. They put on the light, the announcer say, Exodus is playing so and so and so. They're ready to go. Regardless of how the song is, right? You have nobody to go wrong and say, all right, let me hear the kick drum, boop, 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 boop. Take a song check. Let me hear the basses, boop, 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 boop. You know? So whatever song you get there is the song, right? When it come out on DVD or whatever, and thing, then people say, well, the song was low, and you know.
Well, we just have to live with what is there now, is what you're saying.
Right.
You're saying there's no way you can mic these things and
well, it have
individually set the sections.
They have what they do, put mic in front of the stage, in front of the band, right? And sometimes I see them putting a mic in the kick drum.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but there's no song check to say. Carry a band in the Savannah during the day and say, all right, this is the band. I'm going to song check this band so everybody will have the same song.
Yeah, the logistics of what you're talking about is accepted. And let me just switch over to the technologists here. Because what part of the points I'm making is this. The microphone they're going to use is like a parabolic reflector. I mean, it's omnidirectional. It's going to just pick up everything. Yeah. And if you're picking up everything, you're picking up noise like crazy. Right. Is it not time, Leston, that we can use directional microphones and use a whole lot more of them per section? That even with the short setup time, if you have a directional microphone, it will direct itself to the group of pans. Speak to that, please.
Yeah, exactly. What you're saying there, so right. You know, all they got to do is to have the personnel that are qualified enough to do the job, that they do a sound check on the kick drum, the bass bands, the cellos, and every section that comes on stage, they assign those mics to the particular section. Is nothing that is hard.
Gentlemen,
nothing that's hard to do.
Thank you all so very much.
Okay.
I've exhausted my time. I've gone 10 minutes after, folks. It's 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. Peter Blood, thank you so much for taking the time to come in. Leston Paul, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Mr.
Pelham Goddard,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming in, my brother.
Great,
you have yourself a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much. All right? You come around and join me for the morning show tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock. We start at 5 o'clock. Michel Borrell and yours truly will be here. Thank you for having brunch today. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I feel honored to be in the company of these gentlemen. Errol Peru, thank you so much. Alistair, nice of you to show up too. You all have yourself a wonderful day.